at the time I was working at Waitrose, I was in uni. I wasn't liking uni. I was just thinking I just need to just find something else.
9-10 years old and you're making like £300 in a day off selling paracord bracelets.
21. I've been doing Amazon for 2 years. Our business is for 3 years.
We're back today with another lovely episode for you all. Today we've got Jake over here, and I'll quickly give you a bit of background on Jake. Jake, you run your own Amazon business, don't you? Yeah. And I think we'll start this off, tell us a little bit about yourself, how old are you, where are you from, what do you do?
Yeah, of course. So 21, I've been doing Amazon for nearly 2 years now. Our business is for 3 years. Live in the West Midlands, probably tell from the accent. And yeah. That's it, really.
Nice. So I think what we'll do with this one is we'll start it all chronologically, and me and Will we obviously love business and stuff like that. So I think one of the best ways to get into this is tell us about how did you get into business, and when you was younger, was you looking to get into business and stuff like that? Like when you was like a younger lad, was you thinking about it?
So I've always been like entrepreneurial in a way. I remember I always tell this story to everyone who asks the same question. When I was younger, it was like 9, 10 or something, used to go on family holidays to Cornwall. And you ever seen like paracord bracelets?
I don't think I have.
They're like bracelets, and they're made of paracord. So the ropes that they use on parachutes are like really thin but ridiculously strong. And I watched like a YouTube video of how to like wrap them, and you can make like a full-on bracelet. So it just goes around your wrist. But if you ever needed it, like for survival or whatever, I used to be obsessed with survival. That's cut it, and it goes to like 3 meters long.
Wow, that's
insane. Yeah. So I used to when I went on holiday, I used to love like survival outdoor shit. I was a weirdo. I used to buy like 100 meters of this rope when I was on holiday, when I went in the shop, and I'd come back and make the bracelets, like put the lighter on it, like so it like fuses at the end. And I'd sit on the doorstep of like the hotel Airbnb or whatever. It wasn't hotel Airbnb, just in like a side street, and I'd sell them for like a tenner when I was like 9, 10. And I remember one day it was like a Saturday and there was like a fair on in the town, and I did like 300 quid in a day from it.
Oh my god!
Yeah, my parents were like blown away. They were like, "We want to go on a walk. Like we've been sitting in the house all day." I was like, "I'm not moving,
mate.
I'm not moving till I."
Were they free to buy? Or you just get them, cut them yourself, and then?
Yeah, I used to all different colours. You could get glow in the dark ones, everything. You just buy like a reel of rope, like 100 meters or whatever.
How much did it cost you for like 100?
It would have been like 50p per bracelet, like something stupid.
That's insane.
And I'd sell them for like, I can't remember, it would have been like £8-9. And obviously little old me, like, do you want to buy the bracelet? That sort of thing. And then everyone was just banging them.
That's insane. But that much money, so like you're 9-10 years old and you're making like £300 in a day off selling paracord bracelets. That's absolutely crazy. I think that's got to be one of the maddest like little stories that I've ever heard for like someone younger.
The first one I always say, I remember my mum I gave her like because it was all coins. My mum works in a bank, and she'd come back and she got them changed in like £50 notes, and I was like, I've never seen a £50 note
rich.
before. I was like, oh my god, I'm rich.
That's insane.
Telling everyone the story when I was younger.
Wild. So I'm guessing that probably stuck with you for like a long time, and that's one thing I found is like the first ever little bit of money I've made myself off business, you get like a little hook from it, and it sticks with you. And to this day, if anybody ever asks me and stuff like that, like I can always just instantly remember like the first thing.
It's like a key just turned in your head, isn't it? And then you just like, it's obviously the money's great, but just like the process doing it. Like I love sitting there and just doing these bracelets. It should take me like 10 minutes per bracelet. But like
it's all of your own back as well.
Yeah.
Were your parents like entrepreneurial or?
No, not at all. Not
really?
at all. Mum works in a bank and my dad's self-employed. So
mad. What made you think I'm going to go and sell these initial bracelets?
I actually wish I could tell you. I don't know. It's probably from just watching like camping videos and stuff like that on YouTube, and I must have come across them and been like, I could sell these. I guess maybe I've just been born before.
That's insane.
I've just built it up, and just it's interesting. I just love business,
and I feel like with that probably give you the one thing I found is when you make your first business and stuff like that, and it actually gets a little bit of success, no matter how like big or small it is, you kind of prove to yourself, like at that point you're 10 years old and you prove to yourself that you can make like £300 in a day. If you think just the thought of actually at 10 doing that, you can basically do anything at that point. Like if you can do that when you're 10 years old, what are you going to be able to do when you're 30 years old and stuff like that? But that's insane. So following on from there, what was like the next step in like your entrepreneurial, your business career like after that?
Well, I can't really remember doing anything else notable like that. I used to another thing actually that I can think of. I used to go and pick like berries. This was when I was a little bit older. I'd pick berries like raspberries just from like a country lane. Like they're probably dirty and everything, but and I'd fill like punnets and punnets and punnets of them. I'd get my dad and mom to take me, fill them up, and then I'd sit on the top of my driveway, put like a little table out, and I'd sit there. I think this was like my like USP. I was a young kid. People were
100%.
Like, oh, this poor little lad.
Everyone's probably buying into you just because you're a young lad.
Yeah. Exactly that. But it was quite a busy road, and I must have had like 15 punnets or whatever. I was sending them for like £3 or something. It wasn't as profitable as the bracelets, but sold out within an hour. Like cars just kept stopping because they'd see me sitting there and think, what's that like little kid just sitting there at the top of the driveway?
That's mad.
And then did that. But like moving on from there, I suppose.
Did you do the whole like reselling chocolate in school?
No, never did that. Nah, never.
That was like
did
a typical
that.
like example.
Yeah, I feel like that's how everyone got started. It was quite strict at my school, to be fair. And I had a mate who did it and then kind of got burnt out quickly with it. But then just ended up trying really hard in school. Didn't really do anything entrepreneurial until sort of, well, it would have been towards the end of my first year in uni. Turned into, well, not a bit of a nerd, but like much more academic when I was in college school. And then
did you do well in school?
First year of uni. Did I what? Sorry?
Do well in school? Yeah,
I did good. GCSEs did really, really well. Mostly just A stars and A's. And then A levels is where things changed. I got predicted ABB at my college, and then blasted out an email to all the teachers for each A level. I was like, I think this is like really unfair grading and all of this. And they're like, no worries. Within 24 hours, I went from ABB to A star AA.
Oh my God.
Sent off an application to Birmingham Uni, got an unconditional. So I could have come out with anything and still got in. And at that point in my head, I was like, well, when I get a job, they're going to look at my degree, not my A level. So I was like, well, let's just chill now then. So come out with like terrible A level grades, but I was like laughing in everyone's faces.
Doesn't make a difference now, does it?
Just went straight to uni without any issues. Worked while I was in uni, worked in Waitrose for a good 2-3 years. That's how I bought my first car and stuff like that. Just used to be addicted to just working and just bringing money in, even though I didn't really need it. I wasn't spending anything, had no outgoings. Student loan obviously like paid for my accommodation in uni. And then towards the end of my first year in uni, it was just like COVID and stuff like that was starting to come around. I don't know if you boys go to uni or not.
So Will did. I didn't.
I went to uni for I did the full course actually.
Especially at Birmingham, all the lecturers started striking. So I did geography. So like it was already like 8 hours a week. That was it. So I had so much free time living away from home.
Yeah, you did.
And I just had like a limitless free time.
Yeah.
And you might want to cut that bit. What was I going to say?
I was chatting about uni and then.
Yes, it's about geography and, So,
I was at uni doing geography, uni at Birmingham. It was 8 hours a week, so I had just loads of free time. And from there, I just started getting bored of it. A lot of the lecturers and that started striking. I don't know what was going on with it. It was all to do with like their pensions and pay.
I find that like at uni, everyone always has like unbelievable amounts of free time. When you break it down, you could probably do the entire week's worth of work in less than a day.
100%. Well, I did. I literally did. When they were striking, they went on strike in total for like 2-3 months of the year, and when you're at uni, obviously it's like
you're never in the full 12 months, are you?
Yeah, you're never in the full 12 months. So like the first year, I literally ended up doing nothing. I got nowhere. I wasn't really interested in geography. Loved it at A level, but it went so deep at uni about like, how do you think about a mountain and stuff like that. I just wasn't interested in it. And then I started to see things about Amazon, started doing sort of research, things like that online, YouTube, had a couple of different courses.
So what was it that actually got you into thinking I'm going to go and look at Amazon rather than all the other things you could have done?
At the time I was working at Waitrose, I was in uni. It wasn't like in uni. I was just thinking I just need to just find something else. I didn't want to go into a job. I've always never really wanted a 9 to 5. The only reason I went to uni was to get a degree as like a backup.
Yeah.
And then if anything happened, I could just go into, you know,
so
30 grand a year.
And what was your plans? Because this is what I always find is people who are going to uni, it seems that a lot of them don't necessarily have the career paths like sorted out, and you know, and that's what it comes back to. You know, in uni, that's the perfect time to like figure out, you know, what you actually want to do and find, you know, what makes you happy and, you know, what actually you like doing. And especially when you've got so much free time, you can, like you said, you can go and research all these things and stuff like that. Yeah. So when you was in uni, was you thinking like, oh well, obviously this like geography degrees are going to be a backup? Was you thinking like, oh, I'm going to do something like on my own? What was your actual general thinking at that point? Was you just was you actively searching for like something to do?
No, I was exactly the same as what you said, and exactly the same as a lot of people were at uni. Knew I never actually wanted to do anything with geography, but at the time when I was, you know, finishing college, thought I could go into a job or whatever, could go in an apprenticeship. There's nothing ever that like jumps out that I want to do. Yeah. Like my mates one wants to be a doctor, one wants to be a vet. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So a lot of people know exactly what they want to do. It's like their dream job and they'll work for it and get there. Like congratulations and whatever, but just nothing has ever stuck out to me. Yeah. I've always been entrepreneurial, and I knew I didn't know, but I was just hoping that something I would just fall into something in a way, and just from there just build and work and, you know, go into different businesses and XYZ. And
I feel like that was a very similar thing for us. Well, especially for me, I was entrepreneurial, but I had this idea, and I would tell people, I'd be like, you know, I'm going to run my own business and stuff like this, and that's what I wanted to do. But at the end of the day, when my mum and dad had asked me, I'd be like, I don't know what I wanted to do. I was thinking about like going into marketing for a time, but I just genuinely had no idea. And I feel like there'll be so many people out there who feel like they're entrepreneurial, who feel like they want to do this business, and that is what they want to do, but they don't know, you know, what to do. And we had this conversation before with business and stuff like that. It kind of just drops on you. Yeah. Like it's like a penny drop moment. And you know,
best businesses are the ones that just
100%
fall onto you. Yeah.
100%. Like
it feels natural as well.
Yeah. You just kind of naturally fall into it. And I feel like for people out there, they're probably stressing, thinking, oh, I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to like self-employed. I want to do my own business and stuff like that. But they're thinking, what can I do? And they have no idea what they can do. But from my advice for them, people would be just like, keep going, keep just, you know, scouting it out, researching new things until you find something. And, you know, eventually that penny will drop and you will find, you know, your first success, whether it be big or small, you know, and that's just a stepping stone to like getting there and stuff like that.
I think that's the key to it, as well as like networking and stuff like that. Speak to as many people as you possibly can, because someone will come to you with XYZ idea that you've never thought of, that you probably can add something to.
Yeah,
100%. Work together. Keep researching, see what like the trends are and things like that. Obviously, when I started Amazon, and still now, it's a very popular thing. It's a very popular side hustle for a lot of people, full-time job for others. It's like NFTs and stuff like that, which you guys have been in. Obviously, like when it comes around, you can build a business around it. You can get involved in them. So it's just like keeping with the trends and things like that. And it doesn't even have to be a trend, but just, you know, keeping your eyes open, I guess.
Literally. Yeah. So when you was in uni and stuff like that, and you was obviously researching in Amazon, what was it like at the start? Was it like a penny drop moment, or was you just slowly like looking into it? Was you like, was it like a moment where you thought like, you know, this is actually really quite interesting, and I'm going to pursue more research into this? How did that kind of unfold for you?
So when I first started, it was very bumpy. The first few months were very, very bumpy, because I'd done a few different courses, gone over YouTube and things like that, and never really...
Did you think that, oh, Amazon, this is the one, I'm going to just hammer it?
No, not at all.
Just
like
not
at the start. Not at the start. I'll get on to when I had that like key clicked in my brain. But at the start, no, it wasn't working. I hadn't had like the full... I didn't feel like I knew everything about it, and it's so hard to find. If you look on YouTube, a lot of it's about American Amazon and things like that. So I was just doing product research and stuff like that, looking around, but not really looking in the right way, because I didn't know how to. So I was doing that. I was putting the work in, because at the time I just wanted to be out of uni.
Just trying to piece everything together.
Yeah, and then I just dropped out of uni and just kept working at it. I remember one night my mum come into my room at like, I don't know, it was like 9-10 p.m. or whatever.
So you dropped out before it even started taking off?
Because I had money from Waitrose and things like that, and I had another business before, like a bit of an education business. Didn't really do anything. But yeah, my mum come into my room, it's like 9 p.m. or whatever. The other business had sort of trailed off. It wasn't really profitable or anything like that. And my mum come into my room like 9 p.m. and I was like, yeah, night, whatever. I was just working on my computer. And then literally work all night long. She comes back in 8 a.m. I'm literally still in the same spot. She's like, have you not slept? I'm like, I'm my God, no, literally, like, no, I didn't even realize the time. I was just like, but I got nothing out of it. Didn't even find any products or anything like that. Yeah, I went through and did the right processes and things like that I thought I knew, but it took a hell of a lot more work. And even then, when I found products that I thought worked and I thought made money, they didn't. And there was like private label issues, IP issues, things like that, which we can obviously talk about. But yeah, it's very, unless you know exactly what to do, it's very hard. Yeah, it takes a while.
And when you were starting, you know, because like you said, it comes back to this point about like when you're searching, it's very hard to find stuff on the internet, and you know, and we've always had a look around and stuff like that, and you know, and you find that most of the stuff out there is actually just on like online arbitrage, retail arbitrage, and I think what'd be good is if we touch on, you know, what's the difference between online arbitrage, retail arbitrage, and what you do.
Yeah, so for everyone listening, there's obviously like different business models with Amazon. There's online and retail arbitrage, which I didn't even know existed when I first started. I just seen like Amazon wholesale all over YouTube and things like this. I was like, I'll look into that. So online and retail arbitrage, it's basically buying products from like Tesco, Sainsbury's, things like that, big retailers who have things on clearance. So they could have a hairdryer, you know, across the country, they've got 2,000 of them spread out between all the stores. But it's like a deleted line. They're not getting any more in. So usually they'll sell them for, you know, cheaper than their cost price. Like they're making a loss on them. So they are ridiculously cheap. And therefore, obviously, you can still sell them on Amazon because Amazon aren't going to reduce their price because people are still buying them. And you can make good money out of that. But if it's in-store like retail arbitrage, you obviously, if you want to get this hairdryer from Tesco, you've got to go this Tesco, that Tesco. Some of them won't have them, some will just have one. You'll drive all the way there, get one. The profit margins are higher than wholesale. Like you might get, you know, a hairdryer that makes £10 or something, but like you probably spent 10 quid in fuel to get there. So you can make money on it, and it is, I think it is a real good incubator. It's definitely a real good thing to start with, to sort of build up your basic skills.
Especially when you're going, like you say, you're going shopping anyway, you can just have a quick look once you're there. And that's when you can start that kind of side hustle.
I see a lot of people now doing it as a sort of side hustle, like they'll just have a look when they're going shopping and things like that. And obviously you can find out about what's available and stuff, and you can still make money of it, especially if you don't have much time as well. You can easily do that in an hour a day. Looking online, because obviously whatever's, you know, clearance, in-store Tesco, things like that, you can also get online. But it's just not very scalable. You've only got so much time to look around. You've only got so many stores you can go to before it becomes unprofitable. And a lot of them are limited as well. There's only going to be 3 available that can deliver to you. Local Sainsbury's, XYZ. It doesn't have to be supermarkets. It can be any sort of big retailers and things like that. But it tends to be places where, you know, anyone in the general public can access. Wholesale is very different. It's a hell of a lot more scalable. So the whole word wholesale basically means, you know, well, it's like, say you buy a pack of Walker's crisps, like 80p, something like that, but you could get a pack of 24 for like a £5. So because you're buying more, your cost per unit is a lot lower. And it's the whole same thing with wholesale. So same, some of the products that I will buy like 4,000 of them in a month. So obviously you can get your cost per unit down a hell of a lot. Sell it on Amazon, there's Amazon fees and things like that on there too, but like if you're buying 4,000 of them, you're getting a lot off. And because you're trade purchases as well, you're purchasing for a business, you're reselling. Obviously these brands and things like that want their products to be seen in stores and things like that. That's how you can get a lot cheaper. It also means that obviously I can go out, do my own product research, find this product. You know, it may be a company in, I don't know, France, something like that. It's not as accessible to everyone. So say I say hairdryer, but say there's a hairdryer that's on clearance at Tesco. Every man and his dog is probably going to start selling that, and the price is going to go bang, 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 because people put their money in, they want their money out as soon as possible. Whereas wholesale, you can have, well, we call it bricking, don't we, where prices reduce on really popular products, or, you know, products that's just come out. There is a lot less bricking, a lot less competition. Some of the products that I've sold for over 12 months now. Obviously the price can go a little bit choppy at times, but like you're still making money on them. And those are the sort of products that take a lot more work to find where to buy them from. That's the hardest part. Anyone can go onto Amazon and find a product. It's then finding it at the price where you can sell it and it's still profitable.
Well, I guess if they've got that kind of demand, then they've got guaranteed like buyers, haven't they? As the suppliers
exactly.
So they don't really need to find more.
A lot of brands, first of all, you'd have to go through like a trade account. So, you know, if you don't have a business or you don't supply to XYZ, they would just not even answer your email. So there's a lot of different ways that you have to go about it to purchase. A lot of people hate you selling on Amazon as well because they know that you'll reduce the price. Whereas if you owned a shop, you know, you're just going to sell it at the RRP. So people hate that because it brings the value of their product down. People are going to stop going to the brand's website. They're going to go to Amazon instead. So that's the thing with wholesale. It's a lot more scalable, a lot more of a predictable income, which was obviously what I was looking for at the time. I just wanted to know that I was getting XYZ a month so I can be stable and you know, work and build up from there, obviously reinvest. But it's just the scalability of it, and it's a whole business as well. You're obviously running your own business, limited company. You're doing emails, accountancy, talking to your accountant, XYZ, importing, exporting.
That's what's interesting about it from my perspective is like when you compare this to reselling or something like that, you know, the actual fundamentals are totally different. Like you said, with wholesale, it seems, you know, it's very stable, and you know, like you said, because the barriers to entry are much greater. Like you said, you've got to actually be able to buy these products. You know, like you said, anyone can go out there, they can just go scroll on Amazon, find a product, but it's where you're going to buy that from. Obviously the retailers only they might only sell like 10,000 minimum, like the minimum order is 10,000, so you obviously need more money. There's so many factors in there, and I feel like for people who are watching who are into reselling, you will understand this kind of like supply and demand thing, where, you know, if tons of a product release and every man and his dog buys it, you know, that affects the price. But with an increased barrier to entry, you know, there's less people on there, less competition, less people buying, more stable. And like, I imagine if a product's selling for like 500 times a month or 1,000 times a month, you know, the chances are it's not just going to fall off overnight. No. It might do, unless it's like a seasonal thing, but like, you know, it's just going to stay steady on it, or if it's just going to go on a steady decline otherwise. And I think all things like that is comparing this to like reselling and stuff. This is such a more like legitimate business. It's much more structured, like you said, and all in things. And that's why it's so infatuating. And I imagine there's a lot of people out there watching this who are very interested in taking it this next step, actually like going from like, you know, instead of it being like a side hustle, more of it being like a full-time business. And I feel like that's a massive avenue for people to, you know, engage in and explore.
Definitely, yeah. Just to go on a few of the points that you made there, like you say, barrier to entry. Yeah, there is more of a barrier to entry. You need to be self-employed or limited company, XYZ. Obviously, you need money to put in as well. You need probably more money than reselling, but a lot of it is just the work. A lot of people don't want to put the work in to build it up to what it has to be. Well, not what it has to be. But the other thing is like scalability. Obviously, I know people, some of my mates who, you know, sell on Amazon, and they'll do 2 hours work a night after they get home from work, and they'll make XYZ a month, and they don't want to scale it anymore. You can scale it to whatever level you like. If you're going to keep growing it and growing it and growing it, and eventually get employees, get your friends in to pack your products and things like that, then there's nothing stopping you. You've just got to put the work in and build it up. But it is true, like you said, you really are owning and running your own business. It's not just finding a product and selling it. There's so much more to it than that. Nowadays, my time is hardly that much sourcing. The rest of it is just generally running the business, opening trade accounts, speaking to suppliers, speaking to the accountant. You know, there's so many different things. As you know, running, you know, your businesses, it's
100%.
Exactly the same.
Quickly just kind of stacks up before you know it. And I feel like this is like a lot of people out there, I imagine, you know, are willing to, you know, this is the problem with reselling. There's only like so far it can go. You know, you can make like £1,000, £2,000 like profit per month, but surpassing that, there's some fundamental barriers in place that are extremely hard to break, if not impossible to break. You know, just the actual fundamentals of the way it works is so hard. But with this, like you said, you know, you've got this option to, you know, kind of do it on the side, a couple hours a night, you know, run, you know, do a little bit, get a little unit in place, you know, and just start shifting some products and make some nice profits on the side. But then there's also this avenue to really take it down to the next level, you know, to take it to a 7-figure revenue, you know, take it even past that and stuff like that. Obviously, you know, that's for only the people who are really going to be committed and stuff like that. As with anything, it's just a lot of hard work.
At that point, really, but.
So I've got another question for you as well. So let's say, you know, you wanted to set up your own Amazon business, doing wholesale and stuff like that. How much time do you think is involved between like knowing nothing, like literally your first day on the job, before, you know, you might have made your first sale? How many hours work do you think that is?
I'm not gonna lie, it's not like a couple of hours.
Yeah, no, I totally understand.
It takes a lot of work.
Yeah.
It depends how you're gonna learn it. If you take a course or look on YouTube, there's various different avenues.
Yeah.
Some ways will push you to where you need to be because you're gonna have every single question answered
Mm-hmm.
for you, and you're gonna know every single thing that you need to know, and the step-by-step guide of how to get to making your first sale. Hours wise, I don't really know. To set everything up, go out and find a product. If you really hammered it and you knew everything from the start, couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But obviously, I see it as a much more of a long game. Like my Amazon business is really like my savings account. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, I don't have a pension. I don't know about you boys, but like it's just you're reinvesting everything and growing it and growing it and growing it as time goes on.
Very interesting. And I feel like with that sort of thing, even though it is a bit of a slower starter, like you
definitely.
said, the fruit at the end is very fruitful. It's just a matter of like setting up and stuff like that. And I imagine a lot of the initial work is stuff that once you've done it once, you kind of like out the way. Like
True.
If you was to like obviously like teach someone how to do it, I imagine you could probably get them set up there within like few weeks and stuff like that.
Less than that to set everything up, set your Amazon account up, limited company or self-employed, whatever you want to be. Doesn't take very long at all.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally just a guide. It's more knowing how to go out and source the products, building what your business looks like from the public website, etc. Is time consuming, probably a week, maybe a little bit more than a week if you have all the information up front. But from there, the real time consuming thing is learning how to go out and source the products. But another thing that I'll say, when people are like, it takes too long, it's too much effort and things like that. The way I look at it is, obviously I've been sourcing for a long time. I know how to do it. I have a sort of bit of a knack for it now. I can, look at a product and think, probably ain't going to work, might work, You can go out and, spend a week, maybe find 2 products. Those 2 products are going to make you £250 a month each. So £500 a month, that's easily doable. Yeah, if you're putting the work in. That's $6,000 a year. So what's the average wage in the UK? Like 30k.
Yeah,
so
something like that.
How long would it take you to get a $6,000 pay rise in a normal job?
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of effort. And
Multiple
it's a lot of
years, surely.
Literally, and it's like you said. I was going to say then, it's probably a lot of factors that are out of your control.
Exactly.
The business position and stuff like that. Whereas this is in your own hands. It's up to you. You're like the master of your own destiny at that point.
And
like
you could literally go out and find that much extra, yearly profit. Obviously, you don't know whether those products are going to last that long, but that's why you're constantly sourcing.
And like you said, that wholesale product you found, you've got one that's been going for over a year. So that one you've not really touched. No. How much do you reckon you earn off that one?
Well, that one's been going a bit crazy recently. I suppose it's a slightly seasonal product. The prices have come down a bit recently, but I remember that's the one also that I bought 4,000 of. Bought 4,000 of them. They cost me around £7 each. At the height of it, they were making about £3.50.
Have you found with COVID, like stuff has really switched up? Like
some
stuff has dropped, some stuff's gone up.
It was an absolute blessing in disguise. I would have another COVID 10 times over. Like the amount of money you can, definitely in a non-selfish way. But the amount of money that you can make from supply and demand and things like that. So like during COVID, I was selling cake boxes. Yeah. So they're like white boxes. They've got a sort of window in the top, and there was one for 6 cupcakes that you put in there, one for 4, one for 12. And I was seeing them just before COVID was starting, and I thought, I could make like £1 or £2 on each one from the prices that I was getting. So I dug down a little bit deeper, and it was on like the 7th page of Google. I found this supplier. And they were like, come to us with any quote and we'll beat it by 10%. I was like, that's a bit weird. Never seen that before, because it's usually like quite corporate. Do you know what I mean? Trade account XYZ. Literally just, it was like sent.
Did you think scam?
Chris sent from my iPhone. I didn't particularly think scam. I just thought, seems a little bit odd to me. Are they going to be high quality and things like that? Because he had like a decent minimum order quantity. So I was buying from a different supplier before this and bringing them in. I was not selling many at all. It was just like a product that I'd found. It was making a few £100 a month. But then as COVID started coming around, I can't remember where he was importing them from. Somewhere it was like a Turkey or something like that within Europe. It wasn't like China, but COVID started coming around. So you remember him telling me he used to bring a container over from Turkey. Yeah, it's like 3-4K. Yeah, height of COVID, it was 40 grand to bring the container over. That was because of the Suez and stuff like that as well. But it was just crazy. There was so much supply and demand, and these cake boxes, obviously everyone's at home. Everyone's thinking, oh right, what can I do? Let's bake. Let's, I'm not going to take, some cakes to my nan. You can take them in a box. So many people, I know so many girls who opened like little bakery businesses. Everyone was doing it. They were hammering it. So, I was looking on the software and it was just going like this. Like the daily sales were going insane, just selling more and more and more. But also because I had that really good supply, I didn't even realize how good he was. He just had so many connects in different factories that he could order from, and he supplied a lot more sort of commercially, so he had huge back orders, like multiple £100,000 worth of back orders like each month for pallets and pallets and containers of all cake related, like raw material products, so like silver drums, things like that go on the bottom of wedding cake boxes. So he was really, really well connected compared to everywhere else that had like better SEO and whatever, and we were at the top of Google. So it's a good thing I found him. And with time I saw like the sellers, there was less and less and less sellers on there.
Do you think that's because he was selling out? Or?
Yeah, because it was selling more and no one could really get as many in. And the price was going up. So I was thinking, I need to, literally like a gold mine.
But it was unfolding like before your hands.
Yeah, it literally was. But at the time, I just thought, it's just like selling a bit more. I didn't really realize until afterwards how insane it was. So I went back to him. I was like, I need to buy more. So he kept on getting more from me. He obviously had them in stock at his warehouse in the UK. Bought like 1 or 2 more pallets, shifted them in a couple of days. Like the price was still going up. Went back to him. This was like at the very, very start. The price was nowhere near what it got up to. And said like, I need more. And he's like, fine. We're sort of changing it up a little bit more now because it's getting more expensive. It's taking much longer to bring them in. There's huge back orders at the factories. He's like, I can do you a deal, things like that, but obviously you've got to buy a lot of pallets. So I remember at the time, I can't remember how many pallets it was. It would have been like 4 or 5 pallets or something like that, maybe a little bit less.
And these are flat packs, aren't they?
Yeah, these are flat packs. So they're like, the pallet's nearly like a ton, like they're heavy. And it was like £5 for 5 pallets. And he was like, I was like, no worries. At the time, well, I wasn't, no worries. That's what I said to him, like, because I wanted to secure it. I remember going on this long walk at the time thinking like £5,000, like that is insane. I don't know if I can do this. Like literally you've got £5,000 sitting there in just paper.
Literally.
I'd never spent the most expensive thing apart from that was the car that I bought before that, my first car. And I was like, I don't know if I can do it. don't know if I can do it. Went back to him. I'd made my decision. I was like, I'm just going to do it. But what is there to lose? I'll be able to make it back. And he was like, sound, send over the money, all of this. So I sent the money over. I was like, when are they going to arrive? They're going to come soon. He was like, 2 months, about 2 months. And I was like, are you joking? Like, he was like, it's a back order. So obviously, again, me not knowing XYZ, I didn't know enough about it.
Do you feel like that was a bit of a mistake on your part?
No.
But could have been.
It could have. I could have at least known and then planned for it a little bit more. I did manage to then get other cake boxes from other suppliers for a little bit more, but nowhere near as much as I was buying. And obviously this went on for a long time as well. But eventually, by the time they come in, the price was sky high. There was 1 or 2 other FBA sellers on there, and I used to buy them for like £5 or £6 for a pack of 25. And at the height of it, I was selling them for £26 a pack. Obviously, you've got FBA fees and things on there. So, like, if you take one number away from the other, that's not the amount of money you're getting. You've got to pay tax and whatever as well. But I remember at the height of it, I was buying so many. I went back to him as soon as I'd sold them. I was like, I need more.
So how fast did you sell them initially?
Oh, I can't remember. Those 5 pallets. I used to get through a pallet in every 2 days. It was insane at the height of it. I was selling. No, it would have been more than that because I was selling. I remember you could fit something like 58 boxes or something. I remember because I did so many pallets of them, sending them off. I knew 58 boxes, and there was 4 packs of 25 in each box, so it was like 200-ish, something like that. on a pallet. And I remember I used to sell like 200 in a day. So I used to clear a full pallet in a day. So even before that order got to me, I'd placed another one with him. Not as big. It was like 2-3 grand, something like that, because I'd seen the price had gone sky high. Again, another risk. Probably shouldn't have done it. And then obviously as soon as I got the first order, the 5 grand order, and it went in and sold like that, I was like, right, I need more. And just kept buying. And in that month, I think it was about 79k. It would have been about 70 grand worth of cake boxes, 72, 73, something like that. The rest were just the miscellaneous products that I started with. But obviously at the height, when throughout that month, they were selling for about 25, 26 quid. Jesus. That would have been like a 40% profit margin on 79 grand.
Insane to think of, though. Like,
it's incredible.
Imagine making like 70k on cake boxes. Like, it's absolutely
ridiculous,
insane. I bet the feeling when you was actually shifting, like, you know, like pallets, like a pallet a day or a pallet every 2 days. I bet you was thinking like, this is like, like I'm bossing it right now. I bet literally, I bet it was insane. I bet it was an insane moment.
I didn't have a car at the time. We can get onto that, but I used to get my mum to drop me off every morning, and I'd have these pallets, and I cut the pallets open, label. I'd be grafting all day, and I had a storage unit at this point because obviously I knew how many were coming in. And I was just grafting at it all day, every single day. And I was thinking by the end of the month, like I'd never seen that much money. Obviously that's not how much money comes to your bank and things like that. But like that, 79 grand in sales, just refreshing the app. You're thinking like, it's paper, like I'm selling
That's
paper.
insane.
It's paper with a little bit of plastic on the top. It's incredible, but
that's wild.
They're way back down. You can't even make money on them.
So
now,
was that like would you think that's the fastest product you've ever had, or
it's not the fastest selling product I've ever had. I've had products before that I've sold about 500 units in a day before of one product, but that was just a crazy day. It would usually do 250, 300 units a day. But
do you get like notifications on your phone every time you get a sale?
It's not like Shopify now.
That'd be sick.
It would be good. It would be good. But you just refresh the seller app. When I first started, I was like, bang. Every couple of minutes, like, nothing else sold. Nothing else sold. And
I know
it's like,
feeling.
yes, I've sold something for like 7 quid that I'm making 50p on when I first started. But
what was
that was
what was the first product?
We were going to get onto this. So obviously when I first started, a lot of you may know this, with Amazon, you have like a thing called private label. So I could bring in like this cup from China, completely generic cup. It's not a brand or anything like that. Trademark it in the UK, and I'd call it Jake's cup. That way, I'd make my own Amazon listing, have no reviews on anything like that. I'd have to pay a ton of money for ads, build it up, get it on the first or second page on Amazon, and before it starts, selling organically. Yeah. But that means I'm the only seller on there. No one else is allowed to sell on there because it's my brand. Yeah. And you can't, if you're selling, a cup from China, you're not buying it from me. Yeah. And, it's counterfeit basically. But I didn't even realise that was a thing at the start. I didn't even know. And obviously now they've heightened it even more recently, but that really can get you in a lot of trouble. Water. So when I was first doing it, it was around Christmas time, like coming up to Christmas time. And I saw these like aprons. It was a 2-pack of like aprons, like cooking aprons with one. I can't remember. They used to have like a Wonder Woman one, Batman, like Mr. Incredible, whatever. There was 2 different ones that went together. I don't really know superheroes and whatever, but but I didn't realize that it was a private label listing. So this guy, you type in apron, he's spending thousands a day. Like he was at the top of all the lists. No other sellers on there, and I thought, and he was selling them for like 26 quid, something ridiculous. He pushed it right up towards Christmas, because obviously people were buying them for like their parents or whatever as a joke to wear while they're cooking Christmas dinner. But I remember it was around like 18, 19 pound when I found it. So I was like, like have a look around. I found this wholesaler in the UK that it looked like they were all like Chinese products. It was stuff that you'd find on Alibaba. And it turns out they basically were a Chinese company, and you'd sort of order through them and they'd bring them in from China in like a week or so. It was just very fast shipping. So I found the exact same ones and brought them. Obviously, like it was under a completely different brand name and everything, but I packaged them up, put two in a bag, put a label on it, sent off like 100, and they went in like 2 days, and I was buying them for ridiculous cheap, like £5, £6, £7, something like that, selling them for like 18 quid. And this is when I first started, so I'd never seen a product just go bang like that before. So I was like, blimey, I need to get more and more and more. And then I had a message like from another seller, and I thought, it's a bit weird. Like, why would another?
I know that.
Well, it comes through as like a customer message. Yeah. And he was like, it was that seller.
Oh my
like,
God.
Hounding me. He was like, you cannot sell on my listing. This is the trademark, this, that, and the other. Like, you're going to land yourself in the law. I'll take you to court, XYZ. And I was there, like, in my bedroom thinking, oh my God, like,
oh my God.
I don't want to do Amazon anymore, like, throwing myself over this. But then I was like, I thought, well, surely it's probably like quite a big company, probably going to be working 9 till 5. So I thought, I'll close the listing for now, so he can't see my units on there or anything like that. I think I'll open it at 7 p.m.
Wow.
When he's not.
That's risky.
Like, yeah, obviously ridiculous. He just sent me basically like a court case via Amazon,
God.
and I'm thinking, Jesus Christ. So I open it at like 7 p.m. each night for like a couple of hours before I go to sleep and close it again. And then he doesn't move his price down then either. So for the first couple of days it worked, just so I could clear the remaining stock I have. Obviously, me being me, first starting, no stock management, no stock control, I refreshed it. So I'd sold like 100 in 2 days. I was like, yep, I'll have 500 more, please.
Oh my God.
So I had loads, but, you know, selling them from, you know, 24/7 was, you know, 50 sales a day or whatever, but just selling them from 6 p.m. to 8 or 9 or 10 and hoping that he doesn't notice is you're getting a much smaller cut. You know, so I eventually did manage to clear them, but it got like hairy. I had more messages off him.
Oh, did you not? Did you end up replying to him and stuff?
No, never replied to him. Too scared. But like, as time went on and I was putting it on at 6 p.m, he'd start like undercutting me, going a penny below. So we were like fighting.
Whoa.
And then I was like, oh, like, I don't even care at this point. I just left it on all day for the last few days and just kept going down and down and down. I didn't even care. I just wanted I didn't care if they didn't make money. I just wanted the money back out. So I had like it's called an IP claim, like an intellectual property claim on your account. There's all sorts of different claims and things like that you can get. But yeah, that was like, because I hadn't researched and found out every single little thing, because that's not something that you would instantly think of. No one would really know.
I think that's a prime example of like why it's always good to, you know, get that information. And obviously with us, you know, running Crep Chief and our reselling platform and stuff like that, you know, we teach everyone all these basics. And one thing I found is, and I've learned this myself, is, you know, when you learn, you can learn on your own. You can just go out there and learn on your own, but learning from somebody else is so much faster. Probably like 5-10 fold faster than learning yourself, especially when I was learning coding and stuff like that. You know, when I was learning on my own, it was so slow, but then if I found other people and they could help me, they would like provide instant answers, you know, and they would just like, it might take me like 1-2, it might take me a couple hours to figure something out, but someone could just tell me the answer in 1 minute, and then I know that for the future. And but it's obviously always good to learn on your own and stuff. But
nowadays, like, I guess it's the same mindset for you. If you wanted to go out and learn to code, or, you know, you needed to edit the website and you want to learn how to do it, I would always now pay for a course or pay someone who's going to teach me to do it,
so
because
someone who knows what they're doing.
The time is so valuable nowadays with growing things, and, you know, I need to be doing what I am good at, what I can't pay someone else to do. So now I would always do the same thing.
100%. And when you actually think about it, it makes total sense, right? Because we all go to school, we all go to college, and then we all go to university. We pay this fat money to learn from somebody else who's not actually teaching you. Well, obviously, you know, some things are teaching very specific skills, but like, you know, a lot of things in uni, you know, it's not very specific to actually getting a job. Whereas, like, you know, you can go and learn these courses which are going to tell you directly how you're going to make money from it in return.
Who actually has done it. I always say this with like uni, like I got mates who do business at uni. Like, they've been taught by lecturers. I suppose it's irrelevant what they're, you know, making a year and things like that. But like, most of them have never had a business. They've gone to uni, studied business at uni,
and actual business is two different things.
Of course, that's why it's completely pointless. I mean, if you want to be an entrepreneur, I suppose, go and do business. It might help you a little bit, but it's not going to teach you how to go out and open your own business and be entrepreneurial, because these people have never done it themselves. So
literally,
it's such a,
I feel like doing like your
thing
with university, especially if you're doing business, having like a side hustle or some kind of thing on the side of business at uni it's just so key.
It's ridiculously powerful.
Learn twice as fast. It's probably faster.
Yeah, 100%. And, you know, the fact of you actually making money in the end, you know, that increases the rate at which you learn because your motivation starts to skyrocket. I imagine when you first started selling on Amazon, you was like, whew, I just need to find more products. Like, let's go. Just up all night finding products. Literally, like you said.
I did that every night. Just stay up like ridiculous late and just work all day long.
Literally.
COVID was coming around and things like that. I was just sitting there thinking, like, what else is there better to do? I've got no other options. I've dropped out of uni. I was obviously working at Waitrose, but like at the time I was just trying to reduce my hours so I could put loads of time into this. And I just wanted to see a return. I just wanted to see something so quickly. So I had like proof of concept. And then I was like, right, I'm going absolute ham on it. But
100%.
It's a thing at the start. If you don't have all the information and things like that I didn't, you've just got to keep trying. Try. You will fail. I mean, I've probably got 10 other stories like those.
100%.
You'll always have stuff like that, but I probably lost some money on those because I sold them so cheap at the end, but I don't mind because I've paid for that lesson and now I know exactly all about, you know, claims and things like 100%. That, and I wouldn't make that mistake again.
Literally, you'll never make that mistake again because obviously not haunts you, but like you'll be like, oh, that was not good. That was not a good time. But that brings me on to my next question. So what do you think, following on from that, obviously you made these mistakes and these were your first products, you know, what was your first actual product that was legit and how did that go? That was like a proper sale, you could actually sell it on the listing and stuff like that.
That probably would have been the cake boxes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it would have been the cake, but even them were slightly sketchy, I guess. Before then, I'd done a few smaller products, smaller brands, things like that. Because at the start, it can be a little bit harder. You don't get accepted with some major brands and things like that. You're not back registered and things, so it can be a little bit slow at the start. So I remember just doing like a few, like a couple of £100 a month profiters. But obviously at the start, again, like the issue was just like the money. Do you know what I mean? I always needed more money to put in, especially with cake boxes. So it was always just work at Waitrose as much as I could, save up as much money as I could to put in.
So was that all savings, the cake box? Is that $5,000?
Yeah, well, it was savings. The way I started it is a bit of a funny story, to be fair. Again, I used to like go out with mates and whatever after uni. I was in a bit of just a weird point, like didn't really know what to do. Was just starting Amazon, didn't know if it was going to work. I had a Corsa and was driving it one night and went round a roundabout, super rainy and everything, and it literally just come from under me and just completely slid straight into the curb. Literally like wheels are coming off it. I'll send you the photo if you want. You can pop it up. It's just me sitting on top of it like this. Like
Quality.
So angry at the time, but then I was like, you know, I can't turn back time now. What can I do? And then I got home and it was like 4 a.m. in the morning. My dad come and pick me up and everything. I was like, oh god, like,
not the phone call he wants to wear, is
that? No way.
Should have heard my mum when I called and when I did it. I got home and I was thinking, like, oh god, what am I going to do now? I'm going to have to pay for this to be repaired and XYZ. And then I was like, hang on, like, if the car's written off, I don't have to go out and buy another car. I could just put it into Amazon.
Oh, wow.
So obviously I had savings from Waitrose and stuff as well that I put in, but that was like the main bulk of cash. That was like a proper cash injection. It's got something like $4,500 or $5,000, which was like incredible at the time. That threw straight in, and I can't remember the timings, but that's probably what paid for that big cake box order. My poor old Corsa.
Wow. But I suppose at that point it's a bit of fate, you know. It's a bit of like literally like, you know, for that to happen and you be able to invest. And that brings me on to another question. So if you was gonna start like wholesale and stuff, like how much money do you actually think you need to start it? Like,
yeah, so it completely depends. Obviously, to come across cake boxes and be in a COVID situation and things like that, when you need that much cash to buy stuff straight away, it's a very obscure situation. Probably won't see that again in our lives. So obviously, I always say to people who ask me, like, the more the merrier. If you can start with $1,000, $1,500, $2,000, fantastic. You're going to be able to, you know, it's not like you're deploying all that cash straight away either. It's a slow process. You're only buying, you know, as much as like 2 weeks worth of products or something like that. You never over risk into it. It's not just like you've got 2K, you're going to put it into Amazon, it's gone like that. But bearing in mind, if you want to start slower, it depends what you want to scale it to as well and how fast you want it to scale. The more money you can put in, the faster you'll scale, and you know you're going to get the cash out, and then you can invest it again. But I've seen mates start with a couple of £100, no issues. They're obviously going to start slower, but you're still making a return. You know, I look for products with, you know, no less than a 30% ROI really. So even at a 30% ROI, you put, you know, 200 quid in, you're going to get £60 back out. So I mean, it's a good return on investment if you know, you don't get that really from many other things when you know, those products might go in a couple of days. And that just 60 quid made takes a week or two to come back out from Amazon.
And it's a very similar thing with reselling as well. And it's like, you know, once you actually start to surpass this like 30 to 40% ROI margin, it becomes non-sustainable. Yeah. Like, and even with reselling, even if you like look at PS5s and most products in CCN and stuff like that, you know, they're always around that 30 to 40% ROI margin. And if it's like 100% ROI, wow, you're laughing, you're really buzzing with that. But then what I always find is they never last. They're a very like short lifespan period because
competitors catch up.
The reward is so high on them that people are just on it. Like they're just so on it. Like you know, and it obviously gets saturated very quickly and stuff like that. But obviously, that 30 to 40% ROI is amazing. You know, you just got to slowly build it up and up and up.
It's good. Obviously, as you grow and you're doing like, you know, over 10k sales and things like that in a month, it's then requires like a lot of cash, with you know, lower ROIs and things like that. But I've sold things at higher ROIs. Obviously, like those cake boxes were ridiculous, like multiple hundred ROIs. So like whatever cash you put in, you're like multiplying so many times. But yeah, it completely depends. Like I agree with you. You can find things that, you know, 100% ROI, over 100% ROI on Amazon. In my experience, they don't tend to last. They can be the slightly dodgier ones, which maybe like those aprons and things like that. Could be to do with supply and demand as well. If you have the right connections. I mean, there's a lot of products that I sell that, you know, I'm not going to say the name now because you're going to go out and sell them yourself. But like if I told you the brand, you'd be like, wow, like
you won't believe it.
You access that. But some of those are in just such a supply and demand. It's like shortages. Like there was a paper shortage in the specific place where those cake boxes are made.
100%.
There's the other week I used to sell these like plastic clothing cover things. And there was a plastic country. I can't remember the country that he brought them in from. But there was like a plastic shortage. So again, supply issue. Prices went up, sellers went down. So in that situation, then it's not particularly a dodgy product. But you can't get that many in. So although you've got these huge ROIs and you're making good money, it's not amazing money because you can never get as many as you like.
I suppose you're looking for that like sweet spot between like, you know, limited supply, really high demand and all things like that. And I suppose it does come around. I
try and take advantage of everything. If I look out for, you know, supply and demand, you know, look in the news, things like that, see where there are supply shortages of XYZ. Obviously COVID, like everything's in short supply. But then I do also I'd take a 30% ROI product any day of the week at the same time if you sort of diversify your portfolio as much as you can. Like I don't just sell one category. It's not just like tableware. You know, I've sold like shoelaces, cling film, skincare, like everything. It's pretty much any FBA store you look at, it will have like everything on there. It's the most unexpected things, stuff you wouldn't even know exist.
Stuff that everyone has though as well.
So niche, like, you know, it could be like a certain bolt or something. I remember when I first started as well, this was another one. You know, you have like the little key to take your SIM out. That was another private label listing. I had messages about that as well. But I didn't even know about Amazon fees and things like that at the start. I brought them for like quite expensive. Obviously, whoever's listening was buying them for pennies, but I bought them in the UK. He's probably buying them from China. And he was selling them for like £3. But I was buying them for like £2.50. I was like, great, I'll make 50p on this. The Amazon fee's like £1.50 or something. So I just lost money on all of those. Obviously, I didn't buy that many. Is it like a
minimum price you've got to sell? Oh, so like
a minimum fee,
minimum price product before you start losing money?
You'd be able to work it out. I don't know the particular number. I tend to stay away from anything that low. Anything less than a £5, unless you're buying it for like pennies, is quite hard to make money on. The sweet spot for me seems to be around like £8 to £20. That sort of area works quite well. As you go any higher than that, like £50, £60, £70, you're not going to be buying them for like, you know, £10-20. It doesn't work like that. So the margins tend to get smaller. So £8 to £20, £25. But bear in mind, I do sell stuff for like 70 quid as well, but and stuff for cheaper. But that tends to be the sort of sweet spot. That's not me saying just 100%. Look at that sweet spot, but like that seems to work well for me. Yeah.
And I can, well, like it is, you know, I mean, it's economies of scale. You know, the more you buy the product, like if you wanted to buy like a product that, let's say, like you're going to buy £50, you know, for you to buy an insane amount of them, you're going to need a lot more money than you would for a product that's £5. And you obviously, the economies of scale effect doesn't kick in until like you can really bump the numbers up and stuff like that. But another point this brings me on to is like, you know, this is one of the most amazing things about Amazon, and it comes back to this private label thing. You're selling, so pretty much every product you sell is a UK brand and stuff like that, isn't it?
Yeah, I only sell, some European brands, things like that. There is also generic listings, so they are pretty rare you come across them, but it could be just like glass cup, no brand, so you can find them from anywhere. But generally it's just UK based wholesale brands, things like that, just, you know, things that you would find, and you know, people like yourselves who have not really touched Amazon that much before would recognize these brands. They're really popular, so you don't need any advertising on there. They're already products that sell without advertising. They sell organically. They've got good reviews. It's a household name. And you know, they're gonna sell really well. It's like these, like Rode, if obviously they're probably quite expensive. The profit margins would be terrible on them. But if you typed in microphone, I've heard of Rode before, it's probably going to be quite high up on the list.
100%.
So it's that sort of idea of selling brands and things like that, UK based, European based, well known things.
It makes it much easier, and my point was about it is, you know, you don't have to worry about marketing. It's a bit like sneaker reselling, because, you know, Nike already market these shoes to the next level for you. You don't have to worry about that side of marketing. Obviously you still can market stuff, and you can do private label, you can make your own listings, but like I said, that's a whole nother story. But like with this whole wholesale section, you're just taking advantage of these amazing companies these brands have made. You're buying them in and just chucking them on Amazon, and basically you're just like bridging the gap. You're using your money to just fund it to go to Amazon, where they're going to get amazing service, they're going to get amazing returns, amazing customer support, literally, and that's how it works. It's such an amazing platform. It's just like an amazing eBay, really, for brand new stuff.
It is. It's exactly the same. I think it's the most amazing company in the world. People say to me like, "Oh, what happens if it dies out? This, that, and the other." But
so, where do you see the future of Amazon?
So, I think, like we were saying earlier, like Amazon, one of the biggest companies in the world. It's like an Apple, like a Windows. Do you think iPhone are going to go anywhere anytime soon?
Exactly.
I doubt it. And like I was explaining, say, you know, people who are 70 to 90-year-olds are probably not using Amazon at the moment. So sounds a bit morbid, but in 20 years time, all of those people who have gone, and there's,
be replaced,
you know, 20 years worth of people who are at 18 to whatever age they're going to be at, new people, and they're all going to be using Amazon, so their revenues are only going to keep going up. More products are added to it every day. Like they did a collaboration with Morrison's the other day, so you can now order your Morrison shopping like to your door via Amazon. So
is that on Prime?
Prime. Wow. So it's like fulfilled by Amazon, like FBA basically.
Essentially.
But they do so many things like that. Obviously got Prime Video, XYZ drones. They'll just keep killing it, and you know, more and more people are going to be selling on there, but also so many more products are added every single day, and it becomes more and more popular.
And one thing I think about it is, there's actually, who's Amazon's competition? The other general stores. There's nobody who's like, it's not like Apple and like, you know, Apple, like iOS and Android. It's not like there's these like two competitions that are side by side who both doing the same thing. There is nobody who's actually competing with Amazon on that level of like the service. And that's what I was about to say is, you know, the amount of things that you need to do, the barriers to entry for somebody to start their own Amazon is fucking insane. Like the warehouses, like the full prime, like you was on about this, and we didn't know this the other day, and I think this is a cool little thing to touch on, and you was on about Australian full prime that's coming out and stuff like that.
Yeah, so like there's obviously opportunities with different countries and things like that. Like America, you know, that their Amazon monthly revenues are like 10-15 times as big as the UK. Obviously they've got more people, but Australia is so you know, sparse. They're building fulfillment centres at the minute all around, because obviously in the UK, say I send something to the Birmingham fulfillment centre, they'll then spread that out all across the UK so everyone can get Prime for that product next day, same day. But in Australia, it's a nightmare. They don't have as many people, but because it's so far to get to all the different stores and things like that, when all the fulfillment centres are complete and you can get next day and same day Prime, because at the minute the shipping time's like a week, so just no one uses it, it's pointless. It will be insane. Like Australia Amazon will be incredible. I've got a mate whose dad lives in Australia and he's going to move over there literally just to do Australian Amazon. So, I mean, again, it's a risk. You don't know, it might not pay off, but but I can see it being incredible.
And like you're saying, you know, when Full Prime in the UK came out, just blew up.
Yeah. I wish I was in the game when Full Prime in the UK. Well, just when Amazon in general came out. Yeah, again, like we said earlier, always look out 100%. For things that are coming around and have a go at them, because I bet Amazon wasn't that big back in the day. People didn't really think anything of it, but have a go at it. You know, neither of us would be sitting here now if we were doing Amazon from the start. You'd be laughing.
It's crazy how like the actual fact of like, you know, next day delivery makes such like a massive fact on it, and that's like the USP really.
Yeah. Well, I can't be bothered to wait like a couple of days. If I'm going to buy something online, it will be something that I need or want straight away. It's like like printer ink or something like that. We were talking about.
You don't really go browsing the web now for stuff to buy, do you?
Exactly. No, you don't. No one really shops that much unless you're going out because you need something. It's more like you need it now. And that's what Amazon is for, like the stuff that you need ASAP. Obviously they do have like the shopping and things on there now, but some of the products are so niche. They've all actually got uses. It's not just like, oh, t-shirt, it's got a nice logo on it. It's like this nut and bolt for this particular car, or you know, there's like this particular tool.
Cake boxes for my cakes.
Exactly. Why? Who's going to go browsing and think, oh yeah, those cake boxes? Like you're going to go out and buy it.
It's like we ordered ink the other week, and it came within the same day.
Yeah. Exactly. It's
no one's offering that.
It's insane. And they deliver up to 10 p.m. as well. So like, I think some things you can order, you know, 1, 2, 3 p.m. and I've had stuff come like 3-4 hours later, especially being like city centre and things like that. You can make
it's daft.
Yeah.
So when you started FBA, obviously you was quite young.
Yeah.
And you invested quite a lot of money into it. What was your parents' thoughts on that?
Well, they hated they didn't hate, but like they advised against me dropping out of uni. They've always sort of let me do what I want to do, but
for you, was it like uni or FBA? So you thought, I'm going to just...
Yeah, well, not even that. It was just like I didn't want to do uni anymore. I was sick of it. It just it wasn't my vibe anymore. And I was just like, I will just make it work. That's always been my mindset. Whatever it is, I'll keep working no matter how hard, whether it's with Amazon. If Amazon didn't work, I'll go on to the next thing and I would make it work. And if I didn't, then... you know, I failed, but like I would always make it work. So they were obviously supportive and things like that, but like they didn't particularly like it. Obviously now that they've seen, you know, the returns that I've done from Amazon and things like that. Again, at the start,
are they up to date on what's happening?
Yeah. They don't like...
That's every parent.
No, like credit card bills and things like that come through every
probably
month.
Wouldn't sleep at night either.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so... But obviously they're supportive of it now. I just get on with it really. But at the start they were interested in it, didn't really understand it. We thought, you know, didn't think it was a scam, but you know, parents they hate anything that's new, don't they?
Make money online.
Yeah, exactly. I remember when I was like buying some of the courses at the start and like just spending so long just looking on YouTube and things like that. My mum was just like, why are you you know, wasting all this time and things like that. I'm like, don't worry about me. Just give me some time. And, we'll see what happens.
Look at you now, innit? To be fair.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And what, so like over the last like 12 months and stuff, like what kind of figures have you been working with? What have you like actually managed to take it? Like, you know, when did you actually, you started 2 years ago, didn't you? Yeah. And like, what are you at now in these 2 years?
Coming up to 2 years. I think it was October-ish that I started, maybe a little bit. Probably, I was doing all the research before that. So probably coming up to about 2 years now.
But so like now after these 2 years, like what are your figures at today? Like, you know, just for people out there who want like a taste of, you know, where you can actually take it within 2 years time, providing that you've learned everything yourself basically, and you know, you've made a lot of mistakes and you've learned the slower way. Yeah. You know, where are you at now and like things like that?
Within those 2 years, I've now done well over 7 figures on Amazon. So over £1 million in sales. Yeah. You know, you don't want to know exactly how much, but you know, over 6 figures profit yearly now. So the level that you can scale it to really is serious. Like in May was probably one of the biggest months. I think it was £130,000 in sales and about 23 grand in profit. Not the best margin, but that was because I was clearing out a lot of stock at the same time at break even, just literally getting the cash back out. So that's why obviously the sales were a lot higher. That was like 6,500 units in a month. So 23 grand in a month is like insane. That's, you know, what people are on when they come out of uni after a couple of years. So like literally doing it in a month is crazy. But that's not something that will come overnight. Obviously, it is a hell of a lot of work, and I've been, full time at it for a long time now. But yeah, it's completely scalable. There's no reason why you can't build it much higher than that, and bringing people to do your sourcing, bringing people to do your packing and things.
That's
like
what you're
that.
doing now, isn't it? Because obviously you're scaling as fast as possible.
Yeah. It's definitely all about scaling. I pay a lot of my uni mates and things like that. Just get them in. They're grateful of the money. They can do the packing. The other day I dropped 2 of them off at like 5 in the morning, not 5 in the morning, 9 in the morning, and picked them up at 5 at night, told them what to do before they got there, dropped them off. I go home, carry on doing the sourcing, things like that, going out finding products, which is what I should be spending my time doing. And then I come back, I've, give them 100 quid or whatever, but they've packed like 4,000 products that, £2 profit per unit on each product is like 8 grand. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Obviously, not all products are like that. Sometimes it takes longer to pack a product. Sometimes it's just a label on it. Sometimes it's grab 3, put it in a bag, they fit all cuddly in a box. But it's just not wasting your time with things like that, and learning to scale upwards really.
And what are the next steps for you then in terms of like scaling yours?
Building more of a team, building that out, teaching people how to source to a really high level, so I can do that less and more, focus on other things alongside running the company, and then just building from there really, proof of concept of those people coming in and sourcing products. You can have them on commission and things like that, and just build it up and bring in more products, and just make more cash.
Very, very, very interesting. And I suppose at the end of the day, that's like your actual bottleneck at the moment is actually
time.
How much sourcing can you do in a day?
Exactly.
I bet you wish you could just duplicate yourself and just have yourself running away all day.
Yeah. I wish I could duplicate myself. That'd be the best thing.
It's not that easy,
isn't it? But yeah, definitely. Because as things go on, obviously you've got this credit card, that credit card. You're speaking to banks, you're speaking to so many different suppliers, your accountant, XYZ. As you scale and doing more and more and more each month, it takes away your time because you've got to run things.
Your days get took up with meetings rather than
exactly.
work.
There's a lot more to pack. There's new opportunities coming around all the time that you sort of pursuing alongside Amazon. So your time that you spend sourcing goes down and down and down, which is like a nightmare because that is what ticks the needle forward. Me going over my accounts with my accountant or talking to XYZ isn't ticking the needle forward. It's not making me any more money. It just has to be done. So it's just building a team.
I think it gets easier though over time.
100%.
It goes like
just
up
time
and then
management.
down and it levels out a little bit.
Yeah.
So where do you see yourself then in the next like 10, 15 years?
It's a hard question. That's a long time considering it's gone like this in 2 years. I would like to still be doing Amazon just on a huge scale. I can't
huge
see
warehouse.
Huge warehouse. Huge team, and just be a boss. Like just help everyone out, but like bring other people with me. Do you know what I mean? Employees that start at the bottom with sourcing, packing, things like that. Bring them up with me.
100%.
So many other different business ventures in the pipeline and things like that, and just working with people in my network and just building fingers in every single possible pie I can get my fingers in really, and just be more financially free than I am now. I guess it's a cringe word, isn't it? But just live life, I guess, stay happy and keep enjoying myself.
Literally, I think at the end of the day, that's the most important thing. It's about doing what makes you happy, keeping yourself. For people out there, I think the most important part of business and the most ultimately determining factor is how happy are you to work up every day and work really hard for your job.
Exactly.
If you're lying in bed in the morning thinking, oh, for fuck's sake, I've got to go to work now. Obviously, there might be periods in your business career where you might think that for a brief period where things are really tough.
Way worse, you are way harder times than if you're in a
100%. And we've all been there, and that's the way I think with business is. It's like, and it was actually I seen Reese Barrow put it up the other day, and like it's like a graph of how your business goes, and it's just like
seen it.
up down all the time, and it's like
then you'll have mega down
and you're like, oh my god,
like thinking this is amazing. But I think that will be for life. No matter what business you're doing, you're always going to have those ups and downs. But it's all part of the game. I love it. I love building. I wake up every day and I think like, this is fantastic. Like, look at my life. If I don't want to do any work today, products are still going to sell. I'm still going to be making money. You know, I could sit there and, you know, bring in like £1,000 in profit a day if I've got everything in, selling well, and it's the hype period, and, you know,
happiness and financial
I could
freedom.
be sitting in the pub all day, do you know what I mean? And it's still making money. Amazon are shipping off the products for me. That's another thing with FBA, if you didn't know. I pack them all, put labels on them, send them to Amazon. Then each time there's an order, Amazon will, you know, pick, pack and ship them off. So it's like I can go on holiday for a week if I want. I can take my computer with me. Obviously, I need to be in the warehouse here and there, but it's just freedom.
It's an amazing, it's an amazing, like I said, it's an amazing huddle, like amazing hustle. Like you said, you know, you fill your pallet up with XYZ products on there, you ship it up, you package it up, send it off to Amazon. They do the bulk of the work. They sort it all out. They make sure it gets there next day. You don't have to worry about going to the post office or not turning up. You don't even have to worry about marketing it. All you have to worry about is finding an amazing brand who makes an amazing product and then selling the stuff on Amazon.
That's definitely the hardest part. Yeah, obviously at the start and things like that, you don't need the pallet, you don't need the storage unit. You can just do it from your kitchen. Like, I'll send you the photo. You can throw the photo up of my kitchen when I first started, and it's just full of boxes, UPS. And they literally sent a UPS van just to me because I'd requested the collection for that many parcels in that day. My kitchen is just full of these boxes. And the driver, you should have seen the driver's face. I had to help him like carry them all the way up my drive and in the back of the van, drive up the van. It's like 40 boxes or something ridiculous like that. And at that point I was like, I need a storage unit at this point.
I like it.
Start sending on pallets. But it's sick. I love it.
Amazing. So I think that pretty much concludes it. I'm sure we could probably do another podcast another time, and
I'm sure we probably will. Yeah,
and all stuff like that. It's been amazing chatting with you, Jake. Thank you for coming on the podcast.
Appreciate it.
And I think, you know, we'll see everyone very soon. And thank you for coming on, Jake. It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Yeah, no, it's been a pleasure coming on. I appreciate it. I've had a good chat. I've enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Cheers.
There we go. Cheers.